Vampire video games get too much flack for sucking. Honestly, there's people out there who criticise them for having dead characters and say the genre desperately needs to be revamped.
Not fond of vampires, are they?
These people would have a coughing fit if you were to come at them suddenly with vampire game recommendations.
What have you done?
To these totally real and not straw compromise people, we say nay. There are, in fact, great vampire video games with great lore, worlds and gameplay. And you're batty if you don't take a stab at them.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
Vampire games based in 19th century London have an allure that's just chef's kiss.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
The time was marked by an intellectual boom starring Charles Dickens and the like. And the Industrial Revolution was in full swing. The coal smoke-induced fog cast a gloomy gothic atmosphere that made it the perfect setting for horror, vampires and assorted dark activities.
Another corpse? Have the very streets of London become a mausoleum?
Vampyr, released in 2018 and developed by Dawnguard Entertainment, has all of those elements. It's dark, atmospheric and has well-written characters.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Great emotional narrative and a delightfully rich story.
Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place.
In Vampyr, you play as Dr. Jonathan Reed, a doctor turned vampire grappling with his oath to heal while battling his thirst for blood.
Fresh blood. The smell is so strong.
Vampyr makes you feel like a real vampire. Choosing to kill civilians might grant you more power, but there's a price to pay, because every decision you make in Vampyr has a consequence.
All I wanted was to go back to work, to take care of my children.
V-Rising, developed by Stunlock Studios and originally released on Steam Early Access in 2022, brings a fresh take on the vampire video game genre. It blends base building, open-world exploration, and fierce battling in Vardoran, an opulent vampire-laden gothic world full of ancient forests, dungeons, and dark castles. The game, which can be played solo or with other players, plays something like a cross between Diablo and Valheim. For some players, that'll be all they need to know. For those who haven't already tabbed over to Steam, know that in V-Rising you play as a weakened vampire who awakens from a centuries-long slumber.
You are a vampire.
You set out to reclaim your power and rebuild your empire. You'll find all manner of dangerous creatures who want to thwart you. And to thwart them, you'll build up a grand castle, craft weapons, armour, potions and other consumables. Honestly, the customization options just add much depth to this refreshing vampire survival experience.
The rulers of the night have returned. The vampires are rising.
Released in 2017 and developed by Vulgat, Golden Krone Hotel is an indie roguelike that's truly a breath of fresh air to the vampire video game genre. Set in a very mysterious hotel, you play as both vampire and human, using strategy and tactical gameplay to traverse the hotel's procedurally generated floors. Sunlight plays an important role in the game, as sunlight is of course kryptonite to vampires. There's a day-night cycle. This means you'll have to use shadows to your advantage and pay attention to the time of day. The potions, combat and spell system in Golden Krone Hotel keep the game fun and exciting. Don't be fooled by the old school sprite-based look of the game. There's nothing flat about this deep game. It's fair to say that Vampyr, the Masquerade Bloodlines, needs no introduction, since it is hailed by many as being one of, if not the, best vampire video game of all time. But since writers need to earn their keep, let it be known that Vampyr the Masquerade is a well-respected tabletop to digital RPG franchise. It's birthed many tie-ins, and Bloodlines is one of its most popular.
Those mothers ripped me off. I'm dying here.
Set in LA, Bloodlines casts you as a newly turned vampire that must navigate the complex politics of the city's various vampire clans.
Well, savor the flavor, fledgling.
It's a proper computer RPG where you create your character down to the smallest detail. and where your choices affect not just how you play the game, but the way the narrative develops. It ended up becoming a cult classic after it tanked on original release. It did, however, grow to be a much-loved RPG. 2 decades later, Bloodlines 2 is currently in development.
Hey, I work for a vampire. I don't know how much I should tell you, but oh man, damn! It would be awesome to talk to someone else on the inside. Know what I mean? Oh man!
Released in 2021 and developed by Ponko, Vampire Survivors is probably the most satisfying game on our list in terms of the sheer amount of carnage you get to dish out. In Vampire Survivors, you must battle endless hordes of monsters with one main objective: survive until dawn. Simple. Well, kinda. The game wouldn't be the smash hit it is if that was the case. Vampire Survivors forces you to make smart choices. You must select your starting weapons and your upgrades wisely, and adjust your build to counter the enemies you meet. Throw away your desire to collect every power-up you see. They don't disappear, and you'll need to think strategically. The game's not at all the bloody soaked cookie clicker it seems. Prepare to die, and survive. And to ensure you're fully equipped to explore the infinitely generated maps, make sure you have our G915X Lightspeed wireless gaming keyboard that features tri-mode connectivity, key control, GL mechanical switches and light sync RGB. Bloodrayne is an action horror hack and slash developed by Terminal Reality. In it, you play as Rain, a badass Vampyr, half human, half vampire, on a search to find her father and thwart the crazed Jurgen Wolf, leader of a secret Nazi organisation.
I believe you have what I'm looking for. You might say I'm a collector of these things.
Bloodrayne's dark gothic horror atmosphere and grim World War II setting work perfectly with the action horror genre. Rain relentlessly paints the scenery red, hacking through enemies with her dual blades and feeding on enemies to regain her health. Rain's bold attitude and iconic character design helped make the game a cult classic, birthing not only a successful game franchise, but a series of movies.
The key to ruling the world is in our own country, and Wolf will control it.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
While Skyrim isn't strictly about vampires, to its discredit, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim's first DLC Dawnguard is, and so must be on this list. In it, you side with one of either group of vampire hunters, one called the Dawnguard, led by the Redguard warrior Isran, or the Volkihar vampire clan, led by Lord Harkin.
I offer you my blood. Take it and you will walk as a lion among sheep.
The Dawnguard is on a mission to eliminate the Volkihar from Skyrim and foil Lord Harkin's plan to permanently blot out the sun.
Yes, that's it.
Which, by the way, is a really inspired plan, if you're a vampire anyway. And, most importantly, Dawnguard let you become a vampire lord. Who needs sunlight anyway? We're gamers!
That I offer. Now, make your choice.
Konami's Castlevania Symphony of the Night didn't look much different to its predecessors. In fact, it looked pretty old-fashioned, though beautiful, in 1997 when the gaming world was rushing towards 3D. But it was different. It changed the Castlevania series profoundly. Before you went mostly right to left, and got knocked off platforms to your doom by Medusa heads, aka the world's deadliest sine waves, after, Castlevania games were much more non-linear, like Metroid, but with the levelling and grinding of RPGs. Unlike his predecessors the Belmonts, Symphony of the Night's Alucard isn't restricted to the Vampire Killer Whip and maybe a measly flask of holy water. Alucard can wield swords, throwing knives, loads of weapons, all of which behave distinctly, and he can use the Vampire Killer too. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Belmonts.
Impressive. You're very strong.
The game is big and rich, just jam-packed with stuff. And being a Castlevania game, its music is second to none.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
So, there you have it. A whole bunch of Vampyr games you can really sink your teeth into. Still, it's not enough, is it?
This is despicable.
Like vampires themselves, Vampyr games are too few and too far between. Drop off a pint of blood to your local vampire castle today. But not before you like, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more great videos.
So, you've made it this far. In the name of your father, cease this foolishness!
Not while there's a breath in my body.